Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
And Crime.
I was trying to go like this, but my necklace broke, so now I feel weird because I always like grab it like this. It's in my purse. I need to put it together.
Tell me about it. Like I had a necklace. I don't know if it was like the day that we went out, because it was my husband's birthday, just to FYI what I'm talking about. And we went out. And so then I was like, oh, cool. Let me put on a new necklace, something cute, to go with my outfit. Pero luego ya no me puse the other one that I usually wear. And so then when I get anxious, I always grab my necklace. Mm-hmm. It's like an anxiety habit thing. So then cada rato ando buscándola y no traigo nada. So I feel kind of naked.
Me too. I need to fix it and then just wear it because I feel weird.
We'll get another necklace.
No, it's fine. I feel like the little things that go like this just kind of like...
You don't understand. Estela doesn't like change. So that's why I'm like, just get another one. And she's like, no, it's fine. I can wear the same one forever.
I can. I mean, I can buy that one too again, but why would I?
That would be a little bit much. But anyway, we're back here coming from the garage. And it's not that bad today. Heat-wise, no, I'm just saying that now. I'm not saying it's not.
It's still morning. It's still morning.
And marketing, wow.
Morning. It's still morning. So, hopefully we can,
So I had a café de olla iced coffee that I made myself with the café instantáneo, which was really amazing.
And then she's on her second cup.
And I'm on my second cup. Pero este otro we got at a local coffee shop. And my husband came back from the coffee shop, is like, we should have a coffee shop. And we're like, that would be so cool, but so much fucking work.
Yeah.
Like I would be so scared that people wouldn't like my coffee.
It's not even that. It's just like, where do you even begin?
Bro, for real. Pero dude, like, not only that, but like the big companies like Starbucks and all of them, they have people, they have money to be able to...
They all started
somewhere, yeah. But like, for example, like I've seen a lot of young ladies they start their, businesses and then they're like at home. Yeah. Like I know that there's a girl that my sister-in-law goes to, and she's, ¿cómo se llama el place? Café Orgullo. So shout out to Café Orgullo. I doubt that she can listen, or she is, but whatever. And she works from her home, and she has I haven't had any that it was so amazing.
We did.
You had some, fucking bitch, and my daughter. Mm-hmm. But anyway, but yeah, and my husband came back saying he wants a coffee shop now, but we would never.
We have no talent. Who's gonna make the recipes?
I have talent, but I just don't have talent in coffee making. I mean, I think my coffee is amazing cuando me la hago yo sola, para mí.
Right,
And then my cousin, she has a coffee shop in Fort Worth. But my cousin's husband.
Oh, you could ask him.
Nah, but he wouldn't give me his recipes, dude.
No, babosa, like tips on how to start your own
business.
That's
true. I would. But, and then, oh my God, another thing, guys, that I think I have to put out there. Ayer hice tortillas de harina. Ya me puedo casar. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
So then hice tortillas de harina because...
no me invitaron.
No te invité porque nada más salieron como 6, güey.
Oh.
Like, it was just for breakfast, bitch. Like,
it's literally all we had.
Salieron. It was just one for me, one for Emma, one for... But anyway, entonces I was telling my daughter because, we need to start working on getting her quinceañera together. And we were like, hey, I was telling my husband, hey, if I pack you some tacos, te los llevas al trabajo, will you sell them for me? And then he's like, yeah, but, he started putting all these peros. And I was like, you know what? I'm not talking to you. I'm going to talk to my suegro because my suegro would do it.
Yeah.
Like, my suegro's not embarrassed. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm going to tell my suegro, dude, like, to make like the tacos and then sell them like huevo con chorizo, huevo con whatever. And then my daughter's like, yeah, mom. And she was really helping me. Like, she really did help.
Yeah, mom told me that you texted her a picture.
I did. Yeah. Because you told me to text her.
Yeah.
My suegra, if for you guys to know, my suegra is a saint. I love that woman with all my heart. And she's like my mom. And so, well, she is my mom because I don't have another one. But she literally is the cutest thing ever. And she doesn't know how to text or do anything on like the phone and stuff.
Well, some stuff.
Yeah, whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
Lo que ella le da su gana. So anyway, and so my sister-in-law, Estela, was like, hey, you should probably text her.
I'm like, she knows how to open the text message.
She knows how to open a text. And I'm like, okay, fine. I will text her. So I texted her yesterday. En vez de text me back, she calls. And she was like, ¿qué están haciendo? And I was like, aquí sentada. And I'm just kidding. But yeah, so, and my daughter was like, all I want to do is make my ma proud. I'm like, that is the cutest thing ever. But anyway, so I made tortillas de harina. I want everybody to know that ya me puedo casar.
Ya estás casada, way. It's been like
No, I can marry
25
again.
years.
I can marry the astrophysicist.
Would you renew your vows?
Yes, we do want to. That was something.
When do you do that? Is there like a specific time
I
frame
think
that
we
you're
can do
supposed
it
to
at
do
any
that, or you
time,
can do it?
But we can do it at any time. But
Like-
I mean, might as well wait till 20. I mean, we've been together. What? It's gonna be 18. Might as well.
No,
wait.
but you would do it since you got married.
Since I got no, you don't have to do it since you got married.
Well, yeah, because that's when you gave your vows. I mean, those are your vows, your wedding vows.
But
and then you renew
I
your
guess
wedding
my
vows.
husband and I kind of were talking about it, and if that's the case, then we would do it's 7. No. 9, so it's 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it'll be 6 years from now. I think that's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, ya me puedo casar, guys. So if y'all want to get tacos la Barbie. That would be a good name. Tacos la Barbie.
Como la otra Barbie.
Not the otra Barbie. The actual Barbie. Like the Barbie that's going to come out the movie. That Barbie.
Not the drug lord.
Not the drug lord Barbie. Anywho,
Yeah, we should get
slanging,
started.
I think we're just gonna be slanging tacos, you know?
Yeah, instead of
whatever. But anyway, let's get started.
Please.
So, hermana, what do you got for us today?
Sorry, I was taking a sip of my coffee. So for today's case, we are going to Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Oh, we've never been to Iowa. Have we been to Iowa?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
I don't think so. I'm excited. Let's go to Iowa.
Let's
so
go.
if you would like to listen to this episode, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started. Now, the fun, random, interesting facts.
More than one?
More than one.
I love when we do more than one.
About Cedar Rapids is that it is the largest corn processing city in the world.
Dude, we love elote in here.
In the world.
In the whole world.
In the whole wide world.
Not the world.
The world.
Not the world,
earth.
Craig.
The earth. It is also home to various Fortune 500 companies, such as General Mills.
Oh, really?
Without the Red 40.
That place right there.
Yeah,
like the
city.
Iowa, the city.
Yeah.
The Cedar Woods. ¿O cómo se llama?
Cedar Rapids.
Cedar Rapids.
Quaker Oats.
What?
And Nordstrom.
Not Quaker Oats. I'm not really worried about Nordstrom. I'm like, Quaker Oats? That's where we get our oatmeal.
Also, Ashton Kutcher is from Cedar Rapids.
What? Not Ashton.
And Elijah Woods.
Oh, Elijah was as hot as hell. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for those interesting facts.
Fox, now you know where all the corn comes from.
Bro, like I need to know, we were just talking about that. Are we going to make corn today?
Yeah.
We need to make corn dip or corn something. Corn dip sounds good though.
I just want to buy something. I don't want to make anything personally.
But corn.
We'll go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. Okay, now we will be discussing the case of Michelle Martinko, whose life ended abruptly and brutally just days before Christmas in 1979.
Not Christmas.
In 1979.
Okay. That's the year my sister was born.
Vanessa?
Mm-hmm. Vanessa.
Vanessa?
Not the Vanessa. La Vanessa Mayonesa. She was born.
Nice. Pero de qué mes?
Octubre.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle Marie Martinko was born on October 6th of 1961 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to parents Donald and Jeanette Martinko. She was their second child, and she was a miracle baby.
Aww.
After having Janelle, which was their first daughter, Janet suffered 5 miscarriages before Michelle was born.
Oh my gosh.
And she was actually 44 when she had her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's still good.
Janelle said that, the family was just so grateful. And she was like, it was very exciting when my sister was born. She was like, we were all just filled with joy.
Oh, that's exciting. So she had 2 girls.
2 girls.
Okay.
Yeah. So Janelle was actually 12 years older than Michelle.
Okay.
But they were very close. And Michelle was actually Janelle's flower girl at her wedding.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm assuming
so
se casó, well, it was back in the day. So I'm sure that, they got married young and stuff like that. If she was only 12 years older than her.
12 years older.
And she was still a flower girl. So todavía estaba chiquita.
You could still, I want to be your flower girl at your wedding.
What wedding?
The one we're having. We've already had this discussion. Okay.
No.
Síguele. You're going to have a wedding. I don't give a fuck. I'll fucking, I already told you. I will fucking get everything ready and then invite you over
I'll just
for
elope
dinner.
and not tell anybody.
I'll still make a wedding. I'll fucking make a wedding. I'm having a wedding, motherfucker.
I'll be like, we're just gonna, look, bro, we're just gonna go and get married elsewhere and we're not gonna tell nobody.
And then guess what? I have your location. I will fucking find you, bitch. I'll be like, ¿Dónde está esta marrana pendeja?
Bitch, like, I'll share my location with you.
I want to bet you everything. You could not have a whole ass wedding and not tell me. Like, yeah, you
What
could.
wedding?
Yeah, you could. I mean, not like get a whole ass marriage license and shit. Yeah, you would.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you would. My bad.
At the age of 12, Michelle was diagnosed with scoliosis and had to wear like a neck brace that went from the back of her neck to her hips for 2 years.
Wow, that must have been hard.
I know. And Janelle...
How old was she?
12. So
Imaginas at that age.
I
and
know.
then the kids. Oh, my God.
And Janelle goes on to say that she felt very self-conscious about it.
I'm
and
sure
she felt
did.
like the odd one out. Especially at that time, you're about to be a teenager,
Yeah.
Kids are dicks and
Dude,
stuff.
at least it was in social media and stuff. People would
That's true.
bully her and stuff, Well, at least because I remember when we used to get bullied at school, you would get bullied at school, pero luego te venías a la casa and you would like be okay because you wouldn't, like it wouldn't follow you. Now it follows you all day because they're on the phone all day,
Yeah, everywhere.
Which is sad, but.
Now, it was until she was able to take off the brace at the age of 14 that Michelle really just flourished.
Oh, kind of like a little butterfly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, I know you remember Farrah Fawcett, right?
Who doesn't remember Farrah Fawcett?
So she was very big at the time. And Michelle se hacía el pelo como Farrah Fawcett.
That is so cool.
Igualita. Because Michelle had like long blonde hair. And she was so pretty. She was beautiful. And her hair reminds me just like endless cornfields. Just así bien, bien
Como
blonde.
bien blonde y como casi golden.
And just golden.
Como pelos de elote.
But like legit.
No, I mean, not like, I'm not trying to be funny, pero como pelos de elote. Like real,
cornfield, for reals. Not like the insults in the novelas. Que decían greñas de...
Pelos de elote.
Pelos de elote or whatever.
That's what they used to call me porque estaban todas tostadas and shit. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser, taser, taser! He's gonna shoot! Oi! Shot fired! Shots fired, shots fired. Stay out, you got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
And Michelle was also into like the arts and music. In high school, she was part of the twirling team and the choir and also did some theater.
Yes, girl, work.
She was described by friends as captivating. Like you couldn't miss her. Like when she was there, you'd notice her. And she had impeccable style. Like she was always dressed.
O sea, como yo.
Yeah, and she was a girly girl. And she was always very happy, friendly, and nice. And all the good things that could be said about a person were said about Michelle Martinko.
Oh.
Yeah. So when she was 15, she met a 16-year-old boy named Andy Seidel at a roller skating rink.
The best. I love roller skating.
And I think she was having issues with roller skating. Y él le ayudó. And then they bonded over pizza. And I'm like, same. Who doesn't bond over pizza?
Who doesn't bond over pizza? Like, I could bond with the fucking pizza. Like, me and the pizza can have hearts coming out.
I bond with it by putting it in my mouth.
Like, there's no pizza out there that I
cannot bond with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they began dating. They dated for 2 years before they broke up.
Oh.
Pero it appeared que fue Michelle the one that decided to break up with Andy. According to friends, Michelle didn't want to be in a committed relationship, which, I mean, dated for 2 years. She was, 17,
Yeah, no, she wants to have a good time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Andy did not take it very well. Yeah.
It usually happens like that. Uno que está bien bonita, güey, like.
Yeah. When Michelle started to move on and date other people, Andy, was up her ass. Who was this new person? What were they doing together?
On, bro.
All up in her business.
Pero él era más grande que ella, or they were the same age? Oh, okay. So they were, he could have been going out with other girls too. Right. Like, what the hell?
And he continued to be very possessive of her, even after their breakup. And he was that way when they were together too. So in the fall of 1979, Michelle was 18 and a senior at Kennedy High School. And she was set to graduate the following spring and planned to attend Iowa State University and study interior design. Sadly, Michelle would not get to graduate high school, or she wouldn't even make it to Christmas of that year.
Don't say that to me. It's so sad.
On December 19th, I believe it was a Wednesday. So Michelle, ese día, regular day, just like any other day.
Regular.
Michelle se fue a la escuela. After school, she attended a school concert choir banquet, which was at the Sheridan Inn
Oh, wow. At the actual hotel. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That night, she wore a black V-neck jersey dress with a black scarf.
She was fashion girl.
Yeah,
she
had
was on it.
Like hose. She was wearing some hose. They were dark, and a black high-heeled open-toe shoes.
Yes,
with
girl.
straps.
Work.
On top, bitch, hold on. She wore a white and brown hooded jacket made of rabbit fur. Don't tell Peter, right? But it looked fly. You could pull up her pictures.
No, fire.
And she had a brown leather purse, and then her hair, I see like very Farrah-Fawcett-y.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, girl, work. That would be my daughter. My daughter is very extra.
The banquet ended at 7 p.m. So she left the banquet and headed to Westdale Mall. Now, Westdale Mall was new. It had just opened in October, and it was the place to be.
Everybody was at the mall.
Everybody was hanging out at the mall. Not only because it was new, but December 19th, Christmas was a couple of days away.
Yeah. So estaba hasta la madre.
A la
pues.
madre, right?
Uh-huh.
So Michelle had $180 on her. And she was taking herself to the mall, which actually today's money would be $754.
That's a lot, dude.
That's a lot of money. And she was going to the mall porque su mom le había puesto un coat on layaway. So she was going to go get it.
So la mom le dio el dinero, dijo, ve a traer el coat.
I'm not sure where she got the money from. I'm assuming. But she also had like a little side job. So I don't know who gave her the money, if it was stuff that she, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Bro,
but she had money.
layaway was the shit. Do people still have layaway, or now it's just like Apple?
I don't know, but I remember we used to layaway at Kmart a lot.
Yeah, layaway was the shit. I used to layaway whenever I used to layaway stuff at Marshall's. Remember? We used to layaway.
I forgot you could do that at Marshall's.
I don't know if they still can do that, but now como you can just go and buy Afterpay and shit. It's the same, no?
Or Klarna.
Or Klarna.
Yeah. So al último, Michelle didn't end up getting the coat, but she shopped around for other things. Like she made other purchases.
She was like, I didn't really need it.
She didn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't think she cared for it. As she was shopping, like como we just said, everybody and their moms was at the mall. She ran into a whole bunch of friends and acquaintances that she knew. She chatted with them and stuff like that. And at almost closing time, Curtis Thomas, or Kurt as he was called, was on a break from his job. And he knew Michelle. They were like friends, but they were like acquaintances. So he
knew of her. Like,
yeah,
sabía quién era.
Yeah, le estaba haciendo conversación. So they started talking, because he was on break from his little job at the clothing store.
También.
Sí, yeah. So le empezó a hacer plática, and then they were chatting as Michelle was making her way out of the mall. Porque ya iba a cerrar. I think the mall closed at 10. So she was just kind of like making her way out of the mall. So Kurt walked her to the exit of the store. I mean, of the building. And then he went back to his job. Y Michelle se fue outside of the mall to her car to go home. And Kurt didn't know it, but he would be the last person to see her alive.
Wow.
Back at the Martinko's family home that was located at 4312 Woodfield Lane Northeast, Donald, el papá de Michelle, and Janet began to panic because it was getting late y Michelle no llegaba.
Bro, I can't even imagine the feeling.
Now, Jane Hansen, who was a classmate of Michelle's, I think they were in the choir together, recalls getting a call from Janet asking her, it was the middle of the night, and asking her if she knew dónde estaba Michelle. She told Janet that she didn't, and she just thought that Michelle was in trouble or something. But
she wasn't like easy, but like something.
Like she
wrong.
just said she went to do something else. Y todavía no llegaba con el carro, right? Because the car that she was driving was the family car. And she said, but she did say that Janet sounded like she was very frantic. Now, no la encontraron, or they couldn't find anybody that had seen her or knew where she was at, so they reported her missing at 2 a.m. on December 20th. Porque ya era el día siguiente, right? Technically, ya era la madrugada.
O sea, ya tenían todo ese tiempo looking for her.
Right.
So se hizo el siguiente día. Okay, got it.
And so they reported her missing, but Donald también empezó a buscarla. He went around and started looking for her. So the police got involved, and around 4 a.m. in the morning, the police found the Martinko's family car, which was a 1972 Buick Electra, parked behind the JCPenney at the mall. Inside the car, it was like a scene from a horror film.
Stop.
I
thought you were going to be like, no había nada, like we usually hear. Like, there was nothing there. There was no evidence.
Her stuff wasn't there. She was gone.
So I literally was like thinking she's about to say that.
There was blood everywhere.
What the fuck?
And Michelle was on the passenger side floor.
They found her.
And she was deceased.
Wow.
The autopsy report a couple of days later would note that Michelle had been stabbed and cut 29 times.
Su puta madre. Like, let's think about it. Is it better that que la encontraron and you're like done, like as a family, are you okay, well, at least we found her and she's there? Or is it worse than you knowing that she's out there? You know, like, I don't know.
think both
Either
are
way, it's
yeah.
horrible. But I'm just saying, like, at the same time, as a mom, it would be like, okay, well, at least we know she's not out there suffering or whatever. But now let's find out what happened to her, right?
Now, it was never confirmed that it was done with a knife. It's just the report just stated that it was a sharp object or a sharp edge object. And it also, you know how usually they'll know depending on how deep the wounds are.
Yeah.
You know, the length of the blade or whatever.
And they also know like the shape and that kind of thing. Yeah.
But that wasn't noted on the report, on her autopsy report.
So they don't know that if it was an actual knife?
Right, they don't know.
Okay. That's weird though.
According to pathologist Richard Feaster, there were wounds all over her body, including her face. Mm-hmm. She had some slicing wounds to her chin and neck. 11 wounds were to her chest.
11 wounds were to her chest.
It just started to rain. Oh my God, we're so excited.
We're so excited.
Sorry.
It's been a while that it didn't rain. Like, it would rain in other parts of Houston, but not in our area. And so we were both just talking about that.
Yeah. So 11 wounds were to her chest. Mm-hmm. And she also had some on her arms and legs.
This sounds like somebody was mad.
And some were defensive. Like she
fought.
She fought.
Okay.
Like she fought
girl.
for her life hard, which would actually lead to her killer being found later.
Good.
Her cause of death was a stab wound to the aorta. She was stabbed through the sternum and then and it cut to the heart, which would have caused actually her death to be within minutes. And according again to Dr. Richard, Michelle lost 2/3 of the total blood volume during the attack.
Wow.
Yeah. So
she didn't go down. She was fighting.
She
girl.
fought. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She also had a laceration to the left side of the head, but they couldn't say what caused it. And the autopsy report also stated that Michelle was not sexually assaulted.
Okay.
So her family, we were just talking about,
exactly.
They were fucking devastated.
She was a miracle baby.
Just heartbroken. I can imagine.
I'm pretty sure she was the light of their life,
Janelle says that, or I think I read a news article that said, that Michelle and Jeanette did everything together. They lunched together. They spent a whole bunch of time together. It was shop. Era la única niña. Ya vivía con sus parents. Janelle was out of the house and stuff like that. Jeanette was quoted saying, "She was a beautiful singer, and I miss all of this. I miss all her singing and her beautiful music. Our lives revolved around Michelle, and she had goals for herself, things she wanted to do with her life, and she would write them down and achieve them. She said, I don't know if I'll ever get over this. I am a heartbroken mother." And then Janelle, she said, my mom and Michelle, she was like, they were soulmates.
Aww.
Yeah. And while her mom was just super heartbroken, she said that her dad, he's very stoic, but she's like, my dad was just angry, which,
Yeah. Now he's like, we're going to find out who did this. Yeah.
So Michelle Martinko was buried on Saturday, December 22nd. And her actual high school choir, which she was part of, they sang at the funeral mass.
I want to cry right now. Just the thought, of their choir, or the choir singing to her. ¿Te imaginas? Yeah. No, I want to cry right now. Like, no.
Police soon were able to rule out robbery as the motive because the cash that she had on her was still in the car. And so were the bag of the purchases that she had made, it was still in the car.
So they weren't like going after her for her money, basically.
Right. Okay. And she wasn't sexually assaulted. So what was the motive?
I don't know.
And who would do that to an 18-year-old? So with no motive or anyone in custody, the community was shook, right?
Yeah. It's something so te imaginas?
Brutal.
Like something so brutal. Yeah.
Right. After Michelle's murder, police advised women not to go out alone, especially at dark. When it was night, there was hardly anybody at the fucking mall, which should have been packed with people because it was fucking new and Christmas was about to be. So everyone was a super high alert. Now, when the car was processed, rubber glove indentations were found on the door and they were in dirt. And inside the car, the indentations were in there too, pero con sangre. So whoever did this was prepared.
Yeah,
prepared. Right? They didn't want to leave any DNA around.
Like they had already it
was premeditated.
Lo habían pensado a ver cómo lo iban a hacer, basically.
Right. Yeah. And they knew they didn't want to leave any DNA behind because they were wearing gloves.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a shit ton of blood in the car, but DNA technology wasn't what it was then. It
That was
wasn't
in
even a
79,
thing.
dude. Yeah, that was in
79.
79, yeah.
So as police continued to investigate, they looked into every male in Michelle's life. All her friends, everybody that she talked to at school, you name it.
I hope they looked into Peter. ¿Cómo se llama?
Andy?
Andy.
Yes. And of course, Andy was one of them and was the main suspect.
Hell yeah.
The way he was acting towards Michelle after they broke up. And that was made known to the police.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he acted really odd at her funeral. Well, I mean, we can't say how somebody grieves, right? But they were saying that he was just like overly emotional and he was just hugging her body. No la dejaba ir.
Como que pinche vieja, like fucking tirada
Tóxica.
and shit. Yeah. What the hell?
A close friend of Michelle's later goes on to say that Andy, asked her that he needed to know who Michelle loved when she died.
What?
Was it him? Was it Andy or Mike Wyrick? Who Mike was a boy that Michelle had dated after Andy.
Pero qué chingos te importa?
And también Mike was considered a suspect, but he was 100 miles away at college and was cleared.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 100 miles away, and I mean, there's no way that you could hurt somebody.
Now, like you just said, whoever did this to her looked like he was pissed off, right?
Yeah, like they were mad because they were like stabbing her. Cuando I figure, like, I'm not a killer, thank God, pero like I figure, see, you start stabbing somebody in the face, like that means like that's like personal, dude. Like, you know, como que,
or even just stabbing somebody's personal instead of shooting somebody, right?
Pero
like,
stabbing whenever you know that they're gonna fight back, like you're mad at them, like you want to fight
you're
them.
Literally like you're not just trying to kill them. You want to be able to feel that you're taking their life.
You know, yeah. So I mean, not that I've looked into that or anything. I'm just saying.
Not that I watch all the CSIs, Criminal Minds,
and all of the things that I
all
can
the shows.
Find. No, never, not me. Mm-mm.
So like for years to come, people thought that it was Andy that did it, especially since he ran into Michelle that night. He was at the mall too.
Fucker.
And he says he'll later go on to testify and say that he ran into her and that they were just having conversation, in that they were on friendly terms, even though they were broken up.
I think that she thought that he was on friendly terms, pero él no. Like in his mind, he's like, no, I want to be with you. But in her mind,
she was like, no, we're just
friends. Yeah, you know?
Y que le dijo, she asked him que he says que ella le preguntó, what was he doing at the mall? Y que le dijo, oh, I'm going to buy you a Christmas present. Don't follow me. Y que ella le dijo,
this just sounds fishy, dude.
Y que ella le dijo a él, hey, can I call later? And that he was like, yeah. So I guess she was supposed to call him later. That's what he said, right? Now, when police...
I don't believe shit that Peter said. Andy.
Andy.
I don't like Andy.
When police went to speak to him about that night, he told them that after the mall, he had gone home and was there the rest of the night. And his mom corroborated that story. Pero that's his mom, so...
Shit, I wouldn't lie for my kids. Girl.
That's true.
I would not lie for my kids,
But
girl.
in the 70s, I don't know.
What difference does it make? If you don't lie, you don't lie. I'd be like, come and get his ass. Come and get him right now because he done girl.
He did it.
He did it. Mm-mm.
Now, Andy was never detained because they didn't have any evidence.
Evidence or
and
anything.
There's nothing that could hold him, you know? And after Andy graduated high school, he joined the Navy, and he moved away. In the months that followed, the police asked the public, of course, to come forward with any information that would lead to Michelle's killer being caught. There was a $10,000 reward, but it went unclaimed until October 1st, which is when it expired. Like, it actually had a date. And
I didn't know that happened.
I don't know if it was me either. This was 1980, remember? Because she passed away in December.
Yeah,
and then
but
the
I
New
didn't
Year.
know. I wonder if that's still a thing.
Now, the police department tried everything, Barbie. They worked with psychics. They even tried hypnosis on some people that were at the mall that night. I think about 30 people. And maybe they had seen something, but they had blocked it out of their mind.
I kind of want to get hypnotized.
Can you imagine all the shit that's going to come out of your mouth?
Bitch, I would need somebody to hypnotize me and then record it so that I can know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I would be like in trouble.
Not you.
No, not like that kind of trouble, but all the shit that
Other people.
Other people. No, like all the shit that I'd be talking about guys and my husband would be listening to me.
I don't think that's what's going to come out of your mouth.
Probably not.
I think hypnosis is for like trauma.
I don't want trauma. No. Let's not remember that shit. Hey, hide it forever.
Now, there were 2 women who were put under hypnosis that seemed to have like a credible sighting. Now, these women did not know each other. but
Okay.
they both described the man similarly. So they believe that maybe it was a man of, like, somebody of interest, right?
Okay.
So they made a composite sketch of the suspect, and it was a man that appeared to be in his late teens or early 20s, between 165 to 175 pounds, with brown eyes and curly brown hair. So this sketch was created, and it was released to the public in June. Now, the release of the sketch brought in costs for sure. Think about 160.
Damn.
I know, in regards to Michelle's case. But the leads were followed up and they led nowhere. I mean, a fucking brown-eyed white male,
¿Te imaginas?
curly with brown hair.
Idaho.
In Iowa, pendeja.
Iowa.
In Iowa, I mean, now that's my daddy. That's my brother.
You know, like that could be anybody. That's my neighbor.
That's my son.
Yeah, like, girl.
It was really upsetting, of course. The Martinko family was dealing with the fact that their beloved Michelle had been taken from them, and in that manner, you know,
That probably sounds like it would like consume
of course,
their family. Like that would be the only thing they would think about. You know what I mean?
Not only that, but they haven't even found somebody that actually was going to pay for what they've done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, following Michelle's murder, there were a lot of rumors going around that maybe it was drug related.
What?
Or it was related to sex work.
Oh, no.
Bitch. And on top of that, and more fucked up, was that Janet was receiving prank calls.
Do
and
you
that
know how much we hear that in these cases? Like I've heard this, how many times? I've heard this a few times of people prank calling.
Yeah.
Why? Get a fucking life.
Dijo que on the phone, and she's on an interview saying this, pobrecita, and when she was talking about it, like her voice cracked and she wanted to start crying, and then I wanted to start crying, and she said that on the phone they told her, "Mother, it's Michelle." Y que luego se reían. And then they fucking laugh.
What? Those people have, they got something coming to them, you know? That's so messed up. Why would you do that?
Why would you do, truly, like, really?
Why? Like, let's think about it. Why?
What's wrong with you, piece of shit? You're a piece of shit.
You are a piece of shit.
I hope that you didn't pay your taxes and the fucking...
A picha mierda with corn.
That doesn't, with corn, because you can't fucking digest it, so it's not a goodbye. It's a see you later.
Nada que hacer. Like,
Truly.
go get a fucking job, idiot.
Like I was saying, I hope you didn't pay your taxes and the IRS took all your shit or something. I don't know.
Pinche cucarachas for real.
Yeah, so that happened. And then, dude, the case went cold, like ice cold by the mid 80s.
Damn it.
And everyone, honestly, everything was done. What needed to be done was done.
But they did everything like the resources that they had, they did everything that you would think, okay, they did it all.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
I bet you they tried psychics and hypnosis.
See, that's like going out the box.
Yeah.
And especially back then in the 80s, like they really did try like everything.
And sadly, both Donald and Janet would pass away without knowing who killed their daughter. Yeah, Donald passed away in 1995 y luego Janet se murió in 1998.
Wow.
I know. And Janet, when they asked her, she was like, I don't think this is ever going to be solved, she said.
She thought it was never going to.
Yeah. Now, in Janet's diary, because she kept a diary, and then she wrote...
I love diaries.
She wrote down that she believed that Andy was the killer.
She did.
Yeah. And then she also thought that Kurt was the killer, which was the one, if not Andy, then Kurt, which was the guy that saw her.
So did Andy have curly hair and brown eyes?
No. He didn't have curly hair at all.
Oh, okay.
But I don't really recall his eyes. I think they were dark, maybe brown, but...
Okay. I'm just asking because maybe it was him. I don't know. I still don't like Andy. I still don't like Andy.
Now, it would be in 2005 where like new life would come to the case.
Okay.
Detective Doug Larson was in charge that year, and he had gone to high school with Michelle. He went on to say that he felt that he owed it to his classmates because, I mean, that shook everybody, you know.
Oh, like he was around the time when they went to school together.
Yeah, they went to school with
okay,
Michelle.
uh-huh.
Yeah, and she said that it had haunted the community since it happened, and it went unsolved. Like everybody knew of the case of Michelle Martinko and Cedar Rapids and in surrounding towns. So he reviewed the case file and he found out that sometime prior, another detective had blood scrapings that had been found on the gear shift inside the car, had sent them out for testing. Because remember, it was 2005. So technology had come
a little bit better.
A little better, right?
Yeah.
So he sent that out, but it was never followed up on.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So did they even get the results?
So he followed up on that lab report. Like he found it and found that it was DNA.
Holy shit.
And that it was male. And that it wasn't Michelle's DNA with somebody else's, and it was male DNA.
Okay.
Then, so he was like, okay, the gear shift had DNA. We're going to test other shit, right?
Well, maybe, yeah, because that meant that they drove the car.
Yeah.
The
or
killer
something.
drove the car, right? Or se sentó allí or something. I don't know. I'm just saying.
So then the dress that Michelle was wearing that night got sent out for further testing too. There was a spot of blood on the dress, which had a full DNA male profile.
Damn.
It didn't match.
Nobody even tried to look into that? Nada?
Well, I mean, it's a cold case. You know, she says that they switch hands. Some detectives don't communicate with each other if they make a change. And,
Dude,
you know,
you know what? We learned that whenever we did our case with, ¿cómo se llamaba the killer de aquí de Bell? What's his name? Harold Bell?
Ed Bell.
Ed Bell.
Yeah.
Ed Bell. So apparently...
I was about to call him Gary.
Not Gary, but so meow. So then what I was saying is like time passes, and the thing is, for example, there's a lot of DNA that was left, like shit that hasn't been opened for years. And it's just sitting there.
But I don't know how the ins and outs of that works. Like who. Obviously, there has to be like a cold case unit,
and not
right?
only that, but how long do they keep these things?
Or how long is it considered for a case to be cold? Then you're like, okay, somebody else needs to look at it now. You know, like who audits all that stuff? You know, like,
or like, let's say that I'm
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is, because let's say I'm a detective, right? And then I'm like, hey, I remember this case so and so. I'm going to look into it. Is that how it works? Or
I don't think so.
Like,
you're assigned to it.
You're assigned this case.
Yeah, I'm sure you're assigned this case.
But like, for example, who makes that decision? Like, who's going to be like, okay.
The head of the
department?
Yeah, like I don't know.
We don't have anything to do today. Let me give you, like at work, sometimes they'll be like, we don't have this.
No, but
stuff.
I think they always have something to do with crime.
But what I'm saying is, like, for example, what I'm trying to figure out, and I know it's probably stupid because I'm never going to figure it out, but I'm just saying, like, let's say that I'm a detective off of this case, right? Y luego years pass.
But then, like a lot of detectives, they retire.
And, they retire, whatever. So that's my question, because whenever we did that, the Ed Bell's case, you know, they had some chanclas de la muchacha that he had killed, or allegedly, and that has his DNA.
But then all that, I mean, it costs money. Like
true. And then, but I think that I would be I found a new job in the crime community. I would be the one to keep all of the DNA. You know why? Because I like keeping shit that I don't need.
Isn't that CSI's job?
No, like that. I would want to do that.
Well, you would be CSI.
I would be CSI. Yeah. I would keep all the fucking DNA.
No. I think...
No, that wouldn't be CSI. That would be the Department of DNA.
You would make a new department.
I would make a new department. Yeah.
So the DNA that was found on the dress was also male DNA. And it matched the DNA on the gear shift. Mm-hmm. So it was...
Oh, shit, it's the same person.
It's the same person.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
So they had the killer's DNA decades later.
So stupid.
So truly, in the struggle, because Michelle fought so hard, and he had like a sharp edge object, not a knife that we know of.
We don't know what it is.
Because she fought so hard, él también se cortó, like he cut himself.
Which we've learned also on a lot of the stuff. Like, for example, in there was another case that we did, the Lululemon case también, where the young lady se corta. Like, it happens. Like, it's slippery.
It's slippery,
cortan,
right.
You know,
especially if somebody's putting up a fight, you know?
Yeah,
So the that DNA profile was run up against CODIS. Mm-hmm. But there was no hit. Now...
That doesn't mean that there's nobody out there. It just means that they just never
with
been in
the
trouble.
Never with the criminal record, right?
Yeah.
So with the male DNA profile, police went back and talked to the men that were previously suspects from very early in the case, and asked them for a sample of their DNA. Andy, of course, was like probably one of the first ones.
Yeah, check Andy.
He gave his DNA.
Peter, whatever.
It was not a match.
Fuck, I knew it. I thought it was him.
It sounded like he was just a dick, but not a murderer, so.
Okay, fine.
Now, Kurt Thomas, también the last guy.
Kurt Thomas tampoco?
Le preguntaron su DNA.
And he gave it?
Initially, he refused to give it.
Why?
From instruction of his lawyer.
Oh, well, makes sense.
Which, of course, you know, people were like squinting at.
If you have a lawyer, they're trying to, you know.
He was married to a judge.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And she was like, no.
They know.
They know the ins and how it works, right?
But if you have nothing to hide, then just give it.
Well, al último, they did, like, his lawyer negotiated with the police department, and al último, the lawyer was like, go ahead and give your DNA. And it wasn't a match.
¿Y entonces para qué chingados están batallando? Ay, pinche
Mike
gente.
Wyrick, remember the college guy that was 100 miles away? También, DNA, no match.
So this was just a random ass person, dude?
They got DNA from over 100 people, bitch.
I would have checked everybody in the town.
Dude,
in Idaho.
even John, the brother-in-law, el esposo de Janelle.
Everybody
and their moms.
Yeah.
And no
I would have
match.
been like, give me female DNA, male DNA, dogs.
Pets.
I don't give a fuck. I'm about to find out who did this
here's
to my baby.
DNA.
Here's my DNA, the cop. I don't care. The judge, that judge que le dijo al otro que no.
La esposa.
La esposa. I don't give a fuck.
So all the over 100 people's DNA, no match. And after 10 years, so this was, remember, 2005.
So now they're sitting here with this DNA, right? Y luego que van a hacer like...
They can't really, since it didn't hit on CODIS.
CODIS, yeah.
I think they can do at least is just exclude people. Like, okay.
Take it off. It's not this person.
It's not this, right.
Okay.
So after 10 years, with no luck,
10 years.
Detective Larison asked to be replaced as the lead investigator on the case.
Oh, shit.
He thought that someone else with fresh eyes should take over.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
He said, like, you can get burnt out because you're looking at the same shit over and over and over again. And it's como que todo just kind of blurs together, I think, at one point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in 2015, Matt Denlinger,
Not the linger.
became the lead detective in Michelle's case.
Okay.
And Matt...
Younger, like with better eyes, fresh people, whatever. Okay.
Because I believe Matt was 5 when this happened.
Holy shit, do you imagine?
5. And Matt was actually the son of Harvey, who was detective at the time of the murder on Michelle's case.
That is crazy.
So he was like second generation
That is
detective.
so fucking crazy. You imagine like being able to solve the case and your
dad, yeah.
Yeah.
And your dad didn't.
Yeah.
Well, he started it and the son finished
I
it.
would be like, bro, I solved it. You couldn't.
So Detective Matt Denlinger got an idea from his wife because they were like brainstorming. They're like, okay, how do we proceed? We have a DNA male profile. Obviously, 2015, let's say 2015 by this point, right?
Yeah.
Pasaron 10 años, 2016.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, DNA shit was doing its thing, you know?
Yeah.
So su esposa de él had gotten a Christmas present that was a research report on her family tree from Ancestry.com.
Okay. That's what
using
I want to
DNA.
do. I want to do that. Mm-hmm.
So he goes on to say that he had like a le prendió
el foco.
Sí,
Like, bling.
light bulb moment.
Yeah.
He did some research and contacted Parabon Nanolabs.
Again?
Yes,
Oh my
he's from our
God.
Brittany Marcel case.
Yes.
Which, like I just wrote here, which if you remember from the Brittany Marcel episode, they helped find the man who attacked her, remember?
Yeah.
She lost her memory. So go listen to that episode.
That one's good. Any case that is solved is good because
with the science.
With the science.
So pretty much, again, Parabon and Nanolabs, what they do is using DNA, they create a photo of what this person looks like. Their features, their ancestry, all that shit.
Another thing, guys, that I wanted to remind you guys, it's really expensive. Like, I think that we talked about that at the other case.
It's like $5,000.
Yeah, it's really expensive. So if the...
and I think the department doesn't, have the funds.
If they don't have the funds, if the family is like, I don't got any money for that, Because I know I don't have $5,000 just laying around. Or 5.
So using the sample found at the crime scene, a photo was created. And it was of a white male with blonde hair and blue eyes.
What?
And he was of Northern and Western European ancestry. Now, when these photos came back from Nanolabs, Parabon, there was a press release.
Okay, I need to see it. Hold on, let me look it up.
Okay, so look at that.
He has blue eyes. Oh, and look at this, guys. It's called a snapshot DNA. So it's like a phenotype report.
Yeah.
And then they have it says unknown Western and West European. It tells you the skin color, the eye color, and if he has freckles, bitch.
Yeah.
Not the freckles.
Now, like I just said, they had a press release in May of 2017. And they actually did multiple photos, right? Some were aged to kind of, time had passed, right? So some with different hairdos because they didn't know what type.
Yeah.
They know
they did a guy with longer hair. See?
Right. Because they knew the color of the hair, but you don't know how somebody wears their hair, right?
And by this time, pues ya está más viejo, ¿no?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when these photos went out, were released to the public, calls did come in. But they led nowhere.
Of course,
it's a white male with blonde hair and blue eyes in Iowa.
Oh, Idaho. I keep saying Idaho. It's Iowa, excuse me.
In Iowa. And
it's because Idaho potatoes, and then we talked about corn, so that's probably why. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And it wasn't very hard to come by somebody that looked like that, right?
Blue eyes. we're not trying to stereotype, but there's probably not a lot of, probably more blue eye, blonde hair people in
middle. What's it called? In the Midwest?
The Midwest.
Is it Midwest?
I don't know.
Anyways, just agricultural America.
Yes.
Now, it would be until the following year.
Which we're at where now?
2018.
Okay, got it.
That when the infamous case of the Golden State Killer finally gets solved, that would help move Michelle's case in the right direction.
Wait, why? The Golden State Killer?
Now, little side note about the Golden State Killer. I feel like everybody knows about it, but Joseph D'Angelo.
Not a lot of people do.
Joseph D'Angelo was a serial killer and rapist who terrorized California from 1974 to 1986. The case of the Golden State Killer went unsolved until 2018, when an arrest was finally made. Joseph D'Angelo was arrested and charged with the murder and rape of all those the victims from that time period, and it was through genetic genealogy that he was finally caught. Mm-hmm. So this, obviously this was national news. It was all over the place, and Detective Matt saw this, and he's like, genetic genealogy? Okay. So he started looking into that, and genetic genealogy uses DNA testing to determine the genetic relationship between individuals and create a family tree, right? Mm-hmm. So he talked to Paraben, and Paraben can do that too. They do a whole bunch of shit, right?
I'm pretty sure they can. All you need is money, bro.
Yeah. And they already had the original male DNA profile. So they used that sample and ran it across GEDmatch, which is a public national database,
kind of like EquiSearch, pero more open to more people, or like people?
Well, no, GEDmatch is when people submit their actual own DNA files, like the results that they get for 23andMe or Ancestry. You get the results, you upload them all, and they're voluntarily, so see if you can find other relatives of yours.
That makes sense. So would I do that? Probably not. I'd be
probably
scared.
Not. Me too.
I'd be really scared.
Yeah. People, it's free, right? So Parabon ran it against that. And in July of 2018, they came back with the hit.
What the fuck?
Yeah. They found a relative of the DNA male profile they had.
So a relative of the profile. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Brandy Jennings, who lived in Vancouver, Washington, was the second cousin, once removed of the DNA male profile. What does once removed mean?
I have no idea.
I know a lot of people say that. That's my cousin, twice removed. Honestly, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Us Mexicans or us Latinos always say it's mi primo. Like, that's my cousin. Like,
that's not my second cousin.
That's not my second cousin. That's my primo. Es tu tía. Like, that's just the way we are. I don't know. So twice removed. ¿Quién sabe? But I've heard that a lot because I've been watching a lot of those, like you said, like the Ancestry and shit. Mm-hmm. They were doing this profile on like the great-grandparent of the great-grandparent of I don't know who. And they would say great-grandparent or twice removed. Or
3 times removed or whatever.
If y'all know, can y'all leave us a comment?
Or we could look it up.
No, because that way they'll talk to us.
Okay. So genealogy records, birth records, marriage records,
todo way.
Gravestone records.
Not the gravestone.
They were all used to build her family tree, Brandy's, all the way back to her great-great-grandparents.
God, doggy.
Which took months.
Yeah.
Paraben did their thing again. I think they reshuffled some shit and they narrowed it down to 3 people that the DNA profile could belong to. Mm-hmm. It was down to 3 brothers who lived in Iowa.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's pretty precise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
but my deal is I know that we're talking about this, but I still can't believe it that it's been this long and they fuck. This person is just still in Iowa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What the hell?
I guess, if you think you got away with it.
And especially if you murder somebody because that wasn't
Oh, te iba a robar.
poquito,
Yeah.
you know,
like I shot you once.
Yeah, or like a little like scratch.
Yeah.
No, motherfucker. He like
29 times.
Yeah, and in her face and stuff, like, no, bitch. And he didn't even take anything.
Right.
Like, what the hell? And you just, I'm just here chilling aquí con los niños, aquí en la carnita asada, you know, like, what the fuck?
So Jerry Burns, Kenneth Burns, and Donald Burns were from Manchester, Iowa, a small town about 5,000 people, and is about 45 minutes away from Cedar Rapids.
Bro, don't mess with the science, bro. They're gonna get you.
From what they looked into, none of the Burns brothers had any connections to Cedar Rapids or
There
the
was
mall.
no reason why they would be in Cedar Rapids.
Right, or the
Okay.
mall. I mean, I guess unless you want to go to the new mall, you live in a smallest town of five,
Yeah, I
five people,
would.
you drive to the mall, right?
Yeah. I like going to different malls.
Yeah. And neither of the three had criminal records.
What the hell?
All three had their own businesses.
They were thriving.
And Jerry and Kenneth still lived in Manchester, and Donald lived in Davenport, which is about almost 2 hours from Manchester.
Okay.
So the detectives kind of made like a plan on how they were going to get the DNA of the three brothers, right? They were going to follow them around. I mean, nobody knew that they were there, right? It was a small ass town, but you couldn't say something about this case, which was so big and it was so crucial to keep it quiet. So being conspicuous and stuff, they made their way to Manchester and first followed Kenneth around for the first, maybe about a day.
Pero también así fue whenever we did the case of who was it? The one that they caught him with that thing also? Brianna? No, ¿cómo se llamaba?
Yeah, Brittany.
Brittany,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah.
They followed him around hasta que he dropped the coke.
He threw something
like,
out.
threw something
his
out,
trash,
right?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
After he stopped to eat, detectives collected a straw that he had used to drink out of a cup and sent it to the lab for testing. The lab knew, bitch, sometimes this can take a little bit long, but
Yeah.
this was priority. Like, there was rush on this shit, and they got results back within a couple of days. And Kenneth was not a match.
Not Kenneth.
Not
okay, so
Kenneth.
faltan dos.
Now, for Donald, who was in Davenport, remember, 2 hours away,
Yeah.
they waited until he threw out his trash, and I think they went through his trash and collected like a glass and a toothbrush, and again sent it out for testing, and it was not a match.
It was not Ronald.
No, Donald. Now back in Manchester, it was Jerry's turn to be followed.
I don't know. I have a good feeling about Jerry porque ya nada más queda él. Like,
There's no
it might
other
be Jerry,
options.
bitch.
Now they followed him to his business, and then when it was time for lunch
Like,
break,
living life like nothing. I can't believe this.
they followed him from cuando se fue a comer, su hora de lonche or wherever they followed him there.
Yeah.
And then after Jerry got up and left, detectives went to the table where he had been sitting at and grabbed the straw from the cup that he had left behind and sent it out for testing. And Jerry's DNA came back a match.
So that was him, dude.
Now,
Ahí comiendo como si nada.
and he was 62 at the time, I believe.
Damn.
I think at this time,
So then how old was he?
64. So he must have been 25 when that happened.
Oh, wow.
So it was December 19th,
Nuh-uh.
2008,
Stop it.
when Detective Denlinger, along with the retired detective that had worked previously on the case, went to speak to Jerry Burns at his place of business.
Do y'all remember that?
And they did on purpose. He knew.
He knew?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
they waited a couple of days after it had.
They're like, okay, we're going to get him
And
right
then
on
he
the
said,
day.
he was like, we want it to be like, have a level-headed mind, just knew what we were going to go in there and do.
Shit.
And all this was in camera. Like, when they went to go talk to him, it's on camera.
Wow.
And you can see the whole interaction. The detectives walk in there and they go up to Jerry. So they go in there and Jerry's sitting at his desk and they introduce themselves. They straight up tell him why they're there, that they're investigating Michelle Martinko's case from 1979. And they told him, it happened 39 years ago to this day. Yeah.
Wow. They must have been waiting for that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They show him a picture of Michelle and he says that he doesn't remember seeing her.
Okay.
That he didn't recall the name.
Okay. But it was everywhere.
But he admitted to having been before, like again, Westdale Mall had just opened. He was like, yeah, I've been to Westdale Mall, but he didn't recall exactly when he had gone to Westdale Mall. Luego le enseñan a warrant that they had for his DNA. And he's reading through it and they swab him right there and there because he's like, okay. And then detective tells him that they're pretty much just there to confirm what they already know.
Really?
Yeah.
So just talk, bro.
Yeah.
Just talk, bro.
That they tell Jerry that the DNA he just gave them, they know it's going to be a match to the male DNA profile that was found in the car.
Just talk, bro.
And they tell him that they had previously, collected his DNA without him knowing it, something that he threw away, and that's why they're there.
And what did he do? What was his face
And
like?
he was just telling them he never said, no, I didn't kill her. He never said that. He just said, test the DNA. He's like, I don't know. He was like, just test the DNA. And it's so weird porque si lo miras, like you think somebody like that looks looks evil. Like you think that you'll be able to tell that he was the killer. But he looks like he has like a cat. Like a cat, y el cat está sentado ahí en el desk, and he's petting the cat, and just
Well, he's like nonchalant.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Lo ves, and you're like, what
the fuck? Dude?
Yeah,
that's what's creepy about us humans. It's creepy. That's scary.
Detective Matt, he's just like laying all the cards on the table, hoping, like they always hope that when you're interrogating them or questioning them,
that somebody just confesses, right? Yeah.
But Jerry didn't.
Like if we that would be the perfect world.
Right. He just kept, like I said, he just kept saying, test the DNA, and he just wasn't giving them any more information. And they knew they weren't going to get anything else out of him, so they just arrested him right there and then.
Like they weren't like, we're not playing with you. We already know it was you. I don't give a fuck what you're about to say. Let's go.
Jerry was charged with murder in the first degree on January 24th, 2019, and he pleaded not guilty.
Of course he did, because he's a fucking dick.
Obviously, Janelle and John, I think the only immediate family that Michelle had left, were very happy.
Yeah, finally.
And Jerry's family, of course, wasn't. They did not believe that he had done it or that he was even being accused of it. So obviously, I'm sure his family had money, and they hired Leon Spies, S-P-I-E-S. Spies?
I think Spice.
Okay. So they hired, I'm just going to call him Mr. Leon. And he was one of the top defense lawyers in the state.
Not the state.
The whole Iowa.
Not all of Iowa.
How big is Iowa?
I don't think it's very big. It's pretty big, bro.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I don't think so. Trial began on February 2020. Right before the Pandy.
Oh, what the fuck?
Right before the Panera Bread.
Why the Panera Bread messes everything up?
And because the case was public, a lot of buzz around the case, they moved it from Cedar Rapids to Davenport, Iowa. Now, we think, okay, DNA, like slam dunk, right?
It's ready. You're done. ¿Qué más quieres?
But no, the prosecution had a lot of hurdles.
Of course, because they had a fucking defensive of the damn state.
The case was 40 years old, and that's a lot of information, of a lot of notes that, need to be condensed.
Yeah.
And presented to the jury in a way that makes sense, and you don't want to overwhelm them. Jerry, as a suspect, didn't make sense. He had no connection to Michelle. Criminal background.
You know what? I was thinking that. Like, why?
He was a family man. He was respected by his community.
But later on in days, that doesn't mean that back then that's what he was doing.
There were witnesses. There were no witnesses. He never confessed.
Okay.
So literally, their case was resting solely on the DNA found at the crime scene,
Pero
right?
¿qué más quieres, güey?
Hold on.
You were there.
But the jury always submits, you have to have a motive. What connects these people, right?
Claro que sí. Yeah, I understand that.
Now, the prosecution, of course, brought in several of and the same people that knew Michelle, Andy, Mike, another friend of hers, Tracy.
Were they trying to discredit her? Or
No, they're just, they want to speak about Michelle. You want to bring her back to life, in front of the jury, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
They all recounted the last time they saw her, how they met her, how she was,
if she
what
was
type
nice,
of person, all that stuff. And also the pathologist that did her autopsy was there. A criminalist that worked for the DCI, which is a division of criminal investigation, named Michael Schmidt, also testified that the DNA sample of Jerry's that was collected when the detective went to go talk to him consisted exactly what the DNA profile developed by the blood stain and on her dress and on the gear shift found in the car. Now, Schmidt stated that the probability of finding that same profile in a, quote, population of unrelated individuals chosen at random would be less than 1 out of 100 billion.
Okay, so
there's only how many people in the world? 8 billion. So this couldn't belong to anybody else
Pero
but
dicen
Jerry.
que no, güey. Pero dicen que no, güey.
No, they weren't trying to dispute that. I'll get into that right now.
Oh, okay.
Now, prosecutor Nick Maybanks, he had like a card up his sleeve that nobody really knew about. And he called a witness to the stand, another Michael named Michael Allison. And he was an informant for the police. And he was in jail with Jerry while he was awaiting trial. Como que hicieron amigos. On the stand, Michael states multiple incriminating statements that were made by Jerry. According to Michael, Jerry said that, quote, he wished he had listened to his dad and cleaned up after himself, but that no one was thinking about DNA as far as it being a possibility in 1979, end quote.
What? So his parents knew about it.
Michael also stated that after the two had played a card game and Jerry perdió, it's not funny, but Jerry threatened to take him, quote, to the mall.
That's fucked up.
And finally, Jared, right? Because this is all
alleged.
Michael saying that Jerry told him. So finally, Jerry told him that, quote, he feels like no matter what happens in the case, he wins because he had the opportunity to be out there with his family all these years. End quote.
Wow. Okay.
Which is true, right?
I mean, yeah, it's true, but you're fucking
dick.
No, a dick is not even, no, dick does not explain what he is.
And también, al último, like, this was fucking weird. Jerry autographed, like, a news story, because remember, this was all over the news, like, newspapers and stuff like that. So, Jerry autographed a news story about the case for Michael. And you can see this on video, bitch.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He wrote on the newspaper, quote, to my favorite son, and signed it, Jerry Burns. And Michael, he said that that's what he would call him. He would call him son a lot. So, yeah. Con su foto.
Con su foto.
Now, when the
defense... Pues sí, es que como he thinks he got away with it this long. I mean, might as well, right?
El señor Leon, the defense attorney, when he cross-examined Michael, Leon le preguntó a Michael if he was testifying against Jerry to get a reduced sentence for the crime that he had committed, right? Because that's usually the case.
Yeah.
And I believe he was in jail for something drug-related. And Michael said no, that he was not promised any deal or plea agreement for his testimony. Now, Jerry didn't testify on his own defense, right? Mm-hmm. And the defense only had one witness they called to the stand, a molecular biologist named Dr. Michael Spence. So otro Michael. So I'm just going to call him Dr. Spence.
Molecular, bitch.
Biologist.
I want to be a molecular biologist.
Now, they were not trying to dispute that the DNA on the dress and the gear shift matched Jerry's. It was his DNA. Everybody knew that.
Yes. 1 in 10 billion or however, 100 billion.
What they were trying to argue was how it got there.
Okay.
According to Dr. Spence, there was a distinct possibility that Jerry's DNA got on Michelle by secondary transfer.
How?
We shed DNA all day, every day, right? And according to Dr. Spence, the average person sheds 2 million skin cells per minute. Now, Jerry had previously stated that he had gone to the mall, and Michelle had gone to the mall. Jerry had been at the food court. Michelle had been at the food court. Maybe, like, you can touch the same surfaces, and your DNA will be, your DNA will be on mine, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Now, when Michelle's clothing was bagged up for evidence, it was all placed in one bag. And according to Dr. Spence, that was not the correct way to do it.
No, it's not actually.
Each item needs to be separated individually.
We're talking about 79.
Right, that's what he was saying. He was like, at the time, it was possible that a piece of clothing, maybe the scarf, maybe her jacket, since they had been in the bag together that night, might have been contaminated with Jerry's DNA, and it had been stored away for decades, and now it was on the dress.
Oh, but we are talking about a mall that had not only Jerry there. There was a lot of other people there.
Right.
So that's stupid.
I mean, yeah, but Dr. Spence was saying that he wasn't testifying that this is what happened. It's just that it's not impossible for that to happen.
That's so stupid. Anyway, go ahead.
Now, in closing arguments, the prosecution reiterated that there was no outside contamination on the clothing, and the way that they done it, it was fine. And that the reason why Jerry's DNA was found on Michelle's dress was because he was the one that killed her.
Not only that, but it was on the car, inside the car.
Right.
Yeah.
The defense's closest arguments consisted of how unlikely it was that Jerry killed Michelle. At that time, they were like, oh, he was married. He had two young children at home. How could he have just left them in the middle of the night to drive to Cedar Rapids to the mall with gloves and a knife and randomly just kill somebody and go back home injured and cut with blood and nobody saw anything? Again, he was like, there was no motive, no connection to Michelle. And I mean, obviously, the only thing you need to do is create doubt in one juror's mind. And that's it. That's all it takes.
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely true.
Now, after hearing 2 weeks of testimonies, the jury deliberated for 3 hours. And they come back with the verdict of guilty for Jerry Burns of the first-degree murder of Michelle Martinko and was sentenced to life without parole. Mm-hmm. There was a possible motive that the prosecution could have presented. It was Jerry's internet searches.
Okay.
But the defense was able to have that excluded as evidence from the court because I guess it was so far after Michelle's murder. They had nothing to do with her murder because it was during the internet times and when the fucking internet happened, right?
Yeah. So
the internet searches weren't included as evidence in the case, but it could have been a possible motive because the internet searches were, quote, blonde molested after getting strangled and sex with freshly dead person.
Do you think that's what he did?
She wasn't sexually assaulted. But it was, some of the detectives believe that maybe that was the intent, but because she fought hard and he was like fucked up and stuff that he was just like, I'm just going to leave. But it could have been an intent, right? Now, after Jerry was found guilty, like a lot of people got to thinking, I'm like, was this his first and only crime?
Yeah, because it sounded like he put a lot of thought into it, you know?
But you don't just do something, you usually escalate.
True.
So one case in particular that it kind of crossed people's minds, the day that he went to, the detectives talked to him or whatever, when he was asked about Michelle Martinko, él solo, like Jerry himself, he brought up Jody Heisentrut.
Okay.
And he stated in the video that he had seen something about her recently on the news, I believe. Now, in 1995, Jody was a 27-year-old Iowa TV news anchor who disappeared on June 27th. On that day, she was running late to work. So if you're a news anchor, okay, you get to your job by like 3 a.m, right?
Yeah, 3 to
4 in the morning or some shit. So she was running late to work and she called a coworker or colleague and she was like, I overslept, I'm on my way. But she never made it to the news station. And later, when they went to go look for her outside of her apartment, you could see signs of a struggle. Her car was there and it looks like she was just straight up pulled straight out of her car. And her shoe estaba tirado y todo. She has never been found.
What the hell?
And when you compare Jody's picture to Michelle's, they look very similar.
Really?
Let me show you.
Oh, yeah. They look like the exact same person. The color of their hair.
Just one more modern than the other.
One more modern, yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Now, there is no current investigation that we know of into Jerry being connected to Jody's case or...
But why would he bring that up?
Right.
Yeah.
So it was weird, right?
Yeah, it was weird.
And there's nothing saying that he knew her, but he didn't know Michelle either.
That's true.
Or that he, has anything to do with her disappearance. But yeah, actually, Jody was pronounced legally dead in 2001.
Legally.
Yeah, so that's the case of Michelle Martinko.
So we don't even know why he did it. We don't know if he did it, because according to him, he didn't, but he did.
He did. DNA doesn't lie.
Yeah, so that's so crazy to me.
So why would he do it?
Yeah, and then time, like how much time passed?
40 years.
For him to just be like sitting there alone, like petting his fucking kitty cat, apparently.
Yeah.
The fuck?
And he just lived his life while Michelle... And
like
they said that she was like, Michelle was forever 18. And that's how she passed.
That's crazy. Let us know what you think. Like, do y'all think it was him? Do y'all think...
Oh, no, it was him.
I mean,
the defense has to put up a...
Yeah. So basically, it was him. Do y'all think that he did it for fun? Like, he was older already. Like, he was 25. It wasn't like he was a kid que no sabía lo que estaba haciendo. Was he bored? And
like his frontal lobe had developed, because I think if it's finished developed by the age of 25.
25, for sure. His frontal lobe was fully developed. So, like, I wonder, like, I just, like, so many questions.
That's the thing. Yeah, he's behind bars now, but why? I mean, does that even matter at this point?
It does matter. It matters because you just went out there and killed somebody for no fucking reason. Like, no reason. Like, this perfectly young, thriving girl.
Oh, and then Kurt, sorry to cut you off, but Kurt was like, and I live with the guilt that I should have walked her to the exit of the mall. I should have walked her to her car.
I mean, no, but I don't think it was his fault. He would have
No,
never
but
known.
he, internally, he thinks that. I mean, the what ifs are always going to be,
of course. But I mean, that I don't think that he should live that way because this bastard, he would have done anything.
And Janelle said that she never got to apologize to Andy because, I mean, his
I don't
life.
give a fuck. Andy was still sus to me.
Yeah, but she says like his life got like forever. People just thought for decades that he was the one that killed her, and he didn't
shouldn't
even
have
do
been
anything.
a creep anyway. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah, that's today's case, guys.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, sister, for bringing that case to us.
You're welcome.
Let us know what you think. If you would like to follow us on Instagram, that would be great. You can follow us at
Cafecito and Crime Pod, or you can send us an email to
cafecitoandcrimepod@gmail.com.
Okay, thank
you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful
week,
day,
weekend,
whenever you're listening. Thank you so much for everybody's support. We love you. Bye.
Bye.